what's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue podcast. I'm your host, Brett. I got Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. I got multiple injuries, Matt. Tanner, the head, is not here today.
Cheers.
We have our show partners, Elite Nutrition. Check them out at elitenutritionomaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. Go to the store in Omaha or Lincoln and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
And a Cybertruck ride with Tanner.
Yep.
I think that's,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
Based on the number of views that short has on YouTube, it's very popular.
Really?
It's got like 500 and some views.
Oh, well,
Think how many Cybertruck rides they're missing out on.
I mean, quite a few.
Oh, shit.
You don't know true pleasure until you've got a Cybertruck ride from Tanner.
We also have Rosewood
Ask
Block
Matt.
to make the best cutting.
And you got a free shaker, so it worked.
Well, what kind of shaker, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
We got the gold one.
no, the actual shaker, or is that another move that Tanner does?
No, his shaker's terrible.
No, is it?
Yeah, he offered one. I was like, oh, I'll just take the protein.
That's like we were talking about that Cheech and Chong with Harry Palmer, the world masturbating champ. The whole time his hand shaking. We also have Rosewood Block to make the best cutting boards and barbecue, fully customizable. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off there as well.
They're worth it.
They're totally worth it. All right. What?
I was going to say, but they're done with like Christmas.
Oh, that's been done. So it's like what, fucking
Probably
Halloween, I
since
think.
January
Yeah.
This year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
So we have our special guest today. We have Coach Pollock from Iowa Western Shotgun Sports.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We've been trying to make this happen for a while, but too cool for school.
It was a spur of the moment thing.
It was. It was.
Because he tried to leave. We locked the door, so he can't get out.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Iowa Western is three-time.
Three-time national
Three-peat.
champs. Yep. 3 in a row.
So why don't you give us your background, how you got started in it? Because you started shooting with your dad when you were younger.
Yep. So I started probably the age of 12, right before middle school came around.
Small town Nebraska.
Small town Nebraska. I think I was in Gordon, Nebraska at the time.
Is this like competitive shooting or just shooting like hunting?
No, it was competitive shooting.
Nice.
It was just trap at the time.
Because your dad shoots competitively also.
Yep.
Side note, your dad won the world championship
Yeah,
last year,
Dad
right?
is a 20 gauge world champion, so that's pretty cool to say.
Yeah.
No, I started probably around the age 12, 13, 14, something like that. Gordon, Nebraska, we had a 4-H team to start with. Just a junior high team that we went out and shot some clay targets. You know, it was nothing serious at the time. We just kind of went out and did what we loved, you know, and that kind of snowballed from there. And we got into different disciplines and, you know, ended up making a career out of it. So that's pretty cool to say.
So how many teams were there? Because I know, like when I was in school, like there wasn't like a shotgun sport team.
Sure. In the junior high scene in Nebraska, there's probably 500-600 kids every year.
Holy shit.
Since you were a kid, or just now as of recent?
No, since I was a kid.
Wow.
I mean, it's been kind of steady since then. It's kind of been falling off since then, just because of the price of everything. You know, I think the cost of ammo and the cost of targets is really killing these younger kids. You know, Winchester kind of owns the brand, that owns the entire sport at this point, and it's right now it's tough for kids to get into it. We started with, I think we had 15 kids on the team back when I was in 7th, 8th grade. And we just kind of snowballed from there. You know, I went from junior high just shooting trap. I was blessed enough to go overseas when I was just starting high school. Learned the game of skeet, learned the game of sporting clays. So it kind of set me up to be competitive in college, where I shot a couple of years at Midland University. So
What's the difference between trap, skeet?
So trap is a single target that comes out of a house in front of you, goes like one of 3 directions. Skeet, there's 2 houses, a high house and a low house. The targets cross. You kind of make a U pattern around it to shoot all the targets at all the different angles.
So like you have like essentially 5 stations.
Yep. So there's 8 stations in skeet. So you just kind of make a half circle around the skeet field, and shoot all the different angles. Sporting clays is kind of, it's the hardest event, but it's also, in my opinion, the most fun. It's more set up like hunting. So there's a lot of different targets that you're going to see in a short amount of time. So you'll cycle through 10 to 12 different stations where each target is a little bit different. Some targets might be coming in at you. You might have targets rolling on the ground. So it's, I mean, going from trap to sporting clays is just kind of growing in the sport, I guess.
Yeah. Like I feel like trap would be like the intro. Like if you're going to get into
Correct.
shotgun sports, like trap is.
And there's a lot of people out there that are just diehard trap shooters.
Yeah.
Like that's what they start with. That's what they do. ATA, the American Trap Shooting Association, that's kind of the big go-to for a lot of the trap shooters. They have tons of different shoots. I mean, trap is the big one. It's actually the only one where you're going to make the most money. And when I say the most money, you're going to be lucky to get your entry fees back.
Fuck
yeah. It's a sport that costs a lot of money.
Like powerlifting.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. There's not a lot of reward for it.
It's right here. All the rewards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you're talking about the price of everything, and you and I have talked before, but like with the different shotguns.
Oh yeah.
So what makes a shotgun that's $250 versus, because you guys shoot over unders.
Yeah.
What makes a $250 over under versus a $20,000 over under?
So to me it comes down to fitment.
Is that a real word?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Like a real word you just made up, or it's a...
No, it's definitely a real world. The gun fitting you is the same as you can equate that to a jogger going running. You know, like if you have a gun that doesn't fit you, it's not going to feel good. It's going to knock the shit out of you, bruise up your face, bloody your face. Like there's a definite gun fitment to the world of shotgun sports that is so much more important than a lot of people know. You know, we're blessed enough that we have Guns Unlimited here in Omaha, and that is our go-to. You know, Tom has been nothing but gracious with us. He's helped us out in more ways than I can count. They have a fantastic selection of shotguns that are able to fit all budgets. I mean, they have everything from $700-800 guns to, you know, $20,000 Kohlers or Kriegoffs or whatever they got.
So, but what makes them, like, not to the fitment,
But you're talking about like quality difference, like
like
the stock, the metal, the
absolutely.
like-
And it all comes down to, you know, reliability and internal, just the quality of build of those shotguns.
So what makes it not reliable? You know what I mean? Because it's an over, like everything's, it's an over under. I'm just
So
gonna
if you're shooting just a normal 870 pump, I mean that firing pin's going to go out in probably a couple thousand rounds.
And you guys shoot how many rounds a week in practice?
Each kid is probably shooting 250 to 300 targets a week.
So that firing
Just
pin's gonna last
practice.
them like 4 weeks, basically.
Yeah. Yep. So getting a better gun is doing nothing but extending the life of that firearm. A lot of it has to do with the mental aspect of being able to trust your tool. So if you're shooting $1,000, you know, 870 that's had a little work to it or whatever, going to an upper grade. I mean, Browning has a ton of them. Beretta has a ton of them. Kriegoff, Kohler. Getting a higher quality gun is doing nothing but increasing your trust in that tool. So, I mean, a lot of the kids, it's just a matter of finding something that fits them, works for them, and is affordable to them to do the best that they can. You know, I mean, it's just getting the best tool possible that's going to last you the longest and give you the best outcome.
Can you use a side by side?
I think, yeah, absolutely. In some disciplines there are, I mean, side by side and pumps have their own discipline. So it's harder to shoot a pump at skeet. So they have their own discipline. You know, they have their own category.
So are you at a severe disadvantage if you have a lower quality gun, or is it still the shooter is the machine? And
The shooter is the machine. I mean, granted, if you got a gun that's shooting where you're looking, it's a lot easier to hit a target.
Yeah.
Having a lower quality gun, you know, it takes a toll on you after a while. A lot of the lower quality guns don't have any type of recoil assistance. Shooting a heavier, more expensive gun not only makes it shoot better and doesn't kick as much, doesn't have as much recoil, but it allows you to trust it. I mean, you know it's going to fire. You know you have good internals, you have good springs. I mean, everything that goes into it is higher quality.
But now I know you've said before, even just like the wood grain.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
kind of explain like the stock. Is it the
So,
wood? It's the stock. Is it just, what is it that all makes the?
So I mean, as far as ordering a custom gun and getting something that you like, the sky's the limit as far as that goes. You know, there's companies out there that they'll custom tailor a gun to you. You know, they'll take your palm print, they'll take your face, and they'll custom make a gun that fits you personally. So it's as far as you want to, as much money as you want to spend in this sport, the more custom they can make it to you. So if you want something, if you're not going to grow, if you're not going to change in the next 20 years, they can make a gun exactly to your fit with the most expensive Turkish or English walnut that you've ever seen. Beautiful. I mean, it's crazy. You got gun blanks going for $5,000-$6,000. I mean, it's
So what's a gun blank?
it's just the stock of wood
Just
that
the stock
hasn't
wood
been
itself?
turned yet. Yeah.
So what's like kind of the point of no return? Like after you get past this certain price point, like you're just kind of wasted. Like you're just kind of like, now you're just getting a fancy stain on it. Like as far as the functionality of the gun, what's your kind of upper limit where it's
So
like,
if we're going to talk collegiate wise, you know, the kids have 2, 3, 4, 5 years max, depending on where they go to college. If they go to a 2-year, they go to a 4-year. If they're spending the money on a Browning, something like that, Beretta, you know, it's a couple $1,000, $2,500, $3,000. You're going to get a firearm that's going to last you probably the rest of your life. Especially if you're just going to college, you're going to shoot a couple years and then you're going to go out into the workforce and do your own thing. I mean, $3,000-$4,000 is going to get you a gun that's going to last you forever.
and now that's with, now when you're looking at that, does that have the adjustable like cheek rests on them too then?
Yep,
So
absolutely.
you can
So
never-
it'll have a custom comb. You can adjust it up and down. It'll have an adjustable rib, some of them, where you can adjust your point of impact. So we're getting to the point in these guns where you can set these guns up to shoot wherever you want them to. You know, if you got a kid that comes in that shoots a lot of trap, if they want to be able to shoot, 27-yard line, they're doing a lot of ATA stuff. You can have it set up to where it shoots, 50, 60, 70% high. And that's all adjustable from the point of impact on the adjustable comb and the adjustable rib.
So the rib, are you talking about where it meets your shoulder?
No, the rib is what goes down the barrel.
Oh, okay.
On top
okay.
of the barrel. The comb is what's on, kind of what you put your face on.
Yep.
That should go up and down, in and out.
Why would you want it to shoot where you won't? Like, why would you want to adjust it 50%?
Why do you want it higher?
Yeah, why would you put
So a field gun normally is supposed to be set up to shoot 50-50, which is 50%. If you put this gun on paper, theoretically, half of your pattern should be above where you're looking, and half of your pattern should be below where you're looking.
Now that's at a
So if
certain
you're
yardage
putting
zone when you're spread, right?
Correct, and that all depends on what you're going to be shooting. So if you're doing skeet, if you're doing trap, that's all different. All of that should be done on the patterning board, so you can set that up beforehand. But it just gives a lot of trap shooters like to be able to see the target above their bead, above their rib, before they pull the trigger.
Yeah. Okay.
So being able to see the target gives you a lot of advantages. You'll be able to hit it, especially if it's windy. The targets go up and down in the wind. So if you have a target that goes up and then it dives from the wind, you should still be able to see it if that target is a certain amount above that rib. So you're able to kind of float that target a little more than you would
yeah.
like a field gun.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And by field gun, you mean just like an off the shelf
Absolutely. 870.
870 or
Yep,
whatever?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So how about I have a SKB waterfowler that I bought, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Yep.
Over under. Super, super fun. Does not have all those adjustable stuff. But really, I thought that thing was obnoxiously expensive.
Sure.
So I think I paid like $1,800 for it. And that was, I don't know, 2000.
And there's always, I mean, if you have fitment issues, there's a guy in Lincoln. We go through Jim Jolene. He does all custom hand carved work. He'd put a adjustable comb in there for you, and you could adjust it up and down for the stock.
Because I thought it was interesting. Like when we were out at my place one time, I brought that. I don't usually shoot the shotgun out there because I'm like, we're just shooting steel down there.
Sure.
But I thought it was interesting. Like I threw the gun up, like, all right, close your eyes, throw the gun up and point.
Yep.
And then you're like, nope, wrong. A little shorter. Can't remember. You said like a little shorter, a little longer. Like, nope, right.
Sure.
It's close enough. Good enough for you, Matt.
People just don't
Fair
understand that. Like, I mean, fitting a shotgun is like fitting a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, if everything lines up, but if it's shooting where you're looking, that's the game right there.
I also have a Browning A5. That's, I don't know, 14, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
That thing is super fun to shoot.
Probably no recoil.
No recoil, semi-auto, but like slugging that thing around a field. Miserable.
Yep.
But super fun. Like could shoot that thing all day long.
Reliable too,
Yeah,
right?
super
Yeah, they're good
reliable.
guns. Yeah.
When I inherited it, I got it from my dad, who had got it from his brother, who had got it from my grandpa. And the last time they legitimately remembered it being cleaned was 20 years before I got it.
Really?
They're like, yeah, go ahead and get a little sticky, just put a little oil on it, it's fine.
Sure.
And that was it. Like that's all you do to that thing. And took it to a gunsmith to like tear it all the way down and clean it. And they're like, this thing was fucking disgusting. And they're like, yeah, but it worked. And they're like, well, yeah, it's gonna work forever. But it was gross.
Yep. Yep. That's Browning for you.
Oh man, that thing was great.
Now, do you guys have like choke restrictions or requirements? So you can't just like be out there and like, I just have a fucking, just a spread of like 8 feet so I can't miss anything.
Not really.
So couldn't you cheat that system then?
Not really, to be honest with you. The more that I get into it and the more that I study chokes and I study a pattern,
Chokes or choking?
chokes. Okay. So it's like, screw the end of the gun. Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to make it funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
No
chokes.
jokes, Matt. No jokes.
The chokes.
My fault. I won't do it again.
It depends on what you're doing too. So if you're doing skeet, for instance, which is probably 20 yards or less, it's all the targets are pretty close to you. You want as open and as consistent of a spread as you can get. So you throw skeet chokes in, obviously. But there's a certain point. Like you want to be able to keep a tight pattern for what you're doing, but not overdo it as far as you're not going to go out and shoot skeet with like a light mod and a full. Like,
maybe want to explain because not everybody here is probably
sure. So, chokes start off with, most closed to most open. So you have full I mod, light mod, improved cylinder, skeet cylinder. So it just goes down in order.
And as those go, does that tighten the pattern as you go down?
No. So, full is your most tight pattern, and skeet is your most open pattern as far as competition. There's cylinder also, but it's very similar.
It's like if somebody's bird hunting, they're probably running
Probably a modified, something like that, kind of in the middle.
Okay.
There's the last thing you want to do is you don't want a pattern so open to where there's holes in your pattern. So if you only have so many BBs. I don't know the exact count in a 12 gauge, but you don't want such an open pattern where you're going to be shooting a bird or a clay and it just flies right through and doesn't even get hit. So finding a good choke company and someone that can make a good pattern is pretty important, to be honest with you. When we do trap and skeet is kind of, they kind of tell you what you need to use for those. Trap, you're going to use a lot of like modified, improved modified, something like that. Some kids shoot full. Skeet, you're going to use skeet, but sporting clays is kind of where it gets a little different. So being that sporting clays is simulated like hunting, you have all sorts of different types of targets. You have targets anywhere from 10 yards to, 50, 60 yard targets.
To rolling on the ground.
Correct. So you have to be able to kind of look at the distance at those targets and be able to know what chokes you want to put in your firearm.
Can you toggle, like if you're shooting like a skeet, can you toggle, like, so when I did a lot of hunting, you'd have like a tighter choke
Sure.
for my first and then the more open for my
You
second.
can, absolutely. So especially if the kids that are shooting like over-unders and stuff, they have that ability. So they can go up to a station and they can look and see, hey, that first target's, 20, 30 yards. Let's throw in an IC, improved cylinder.
Yeah.
The next target is super close. Let's just shoot a skeet. So they can look and see what they're using before they step up into the target, into the box. So
So you can change chokes like throughout the competition.
sure.
You can,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But obviously you can't stop like mid shoot because once they start shooting,
Correct. When you step into the box and you shoot your 10 targets or whatever it is for that station, you shoot what you got.
Yeah, you can't change in between.
Yep. But before you get up there, and if you want to change it up, shoot a skeet, shoot a improved cylinder or whatever it is, change it up. Yep.
Those things are kind of spendy though, aren't they?
Absolutely.
I want to say it was like $200 or $300.
And it depends on where you're going. You can get a decent set of chokes. Compton makes great chokes. Briley makes great chokes. There's a lot of companies out there that are making good quality stuff, and you're probably looking at $50, $60 a choke. So not terrible.
Yeah.
Not cheap by any means.
You guys use a certain kind of ammo?
Depends on what we're doing also. So when we do skeet versus sporting clays, skeet and trap, we'll shoot like a 1,200 feet per second, 8-shot, 3 dram, just kind of a basic target load. That's kind of something you're going to find for we're shooting doves. When we're doing sporting clays, we want it a little hotter, a little faster. So we'll look at something 1,200 feet per second and up. I like the 1250s through 1300s, something like that. So there's definitely limitations. Like you can't go out there with like pheasant loads and stuff like that, but we can kind of pick and choose what works best for us. We're lucky enough. We go through Crow Shooting Supply right now out of Iowa. They give us a pretty good discount being a collegiate team. We're shooting cleavers right now. It's Kenda Cleaver. It's a good shooting shotgun gel. It's fairly clean, pretty hard shot. There is a ton of difference between like bottom of the barrel, estates versus.
Whoa, easy! You leave my estates alone. That's what I use for killing raccoons.
I'm sure, absolutely, and they'll go bang every time. That's the good part about them. So, and you can get as crazy as they have Remington STSs that are costing you, $14 a box. So there's a huge difference between $6 something a box and $13 a box. So
yes, that's true.
Now, do you guys get like at powerlifting meets, they used to have gear checks. Do you guys get checked?
No, but
Like somebody can't be rolling up with like custom loads.
you can shoot reloads for sure.
Because there's got to be a way. Everybody cheats in every sport.
Sure.
Hey,
You shut up. You can't stay healthy enough.
to compete, you're right.
Yeah, but no, so like, yeah, is it ever a thing like someone's got this crazy like choke, or they have this like they're using this ammo that's kind of hot and it's like not fair, or they're using whatever.
Sometimes, but not really in the collegiate scene. You'll get it sometimes when there's a league or something going on at a local club. The guys will shoot pheasant loads or whatever at targets, but
I assume somebody knows right away though.
yeah. They sound different. There's a lot more powder. It's a lot louder than just a normal target load. So, also that most of the kids just throw them in a trash can. So they shoot their 2 rounds and they just pop them in the trash can. So when the officials walk by and they can look at a target or look at the shell and say, "Hey, man, you're shooting 6-shot."
I think it's impressive that it's kind of like that, because I've gone down and seen you guys shoot, and it's like an on your honor. So, your teammates are counting your.
Absolutely.
It's kind of impressive. That's just on your honor. Yeah.
So
like they're counting for you and they're also throwing for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, it's as much as an individual sport as it is a team sport. Like a lot of the kids that I recruit are coming from high school, and they're the best on their team. Like they come from small town Nebraska, small town Iowa, and they're just studs on their team. And then they get to us, and it's, I'm surrounded by 20 other kids that were also the best on their team. So they're definitely going to keep each other honest. Like they want each other.
Nobody wants to beat the other one. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're not fucking better than me. This is gonna.
Everybody wants to be the top dog on the team. So it's just a matter of like, what, we're gonna keep them honest. We're gonna keep these guys. I want my buddy to have success, but I also want to beat his ass too. So it's.
What are the divisions? Like male, female, I assume.
So male, female is not really. It's all kind of into one as far as the team aspect.
Yeah. Okay.
So. Like when we do shoot-offs and stuff, it's top 20 out of top 20. It don't matter if it's men's, women's.
Oh, okay.
Team-wise, it doesn't matter. But individual-wise, they have men's and women's awards for individuals. So that's where it comes into play.
So if you had people like someone who won like a men's division and won a women's division, like they count towards the team total.
Yep,
but then
absolutely.
if you had someone who came in like second, that point still goes towards the team total.
Yep. So it's the top five out of every event. So like when we go to nationals at the end of March, we'll be shooting 600 targets. It'll be over 8 days, something like that. But it's the entire team that I bring down, the 22 people, something like that. Anybody on the team can make a score. So it's if we have somebody on squad number 4 that shoots a fantastic day, they're going to be top 5. So it's. If you show up and you're ready to shoot and you do a good job, like you're going to be counted. There's no, well, hey, I'm squad B or whatever. It's you show up and you do a good job.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
So you go to Midland, you shoot for Midland.
Yep.
Then where do you go from there?
I worked a couple years. Did some stuff at, local businesses or whatever, and got into Iowa Western, luckily. They were just starting a program when I was
So you were the first coach for the program.
I was, yep. Started the program in 2018. We had 7 kids, I believe, the first year. So we just kind of tried to build from there. We had local kids that wanted to be on a team and liked to shoot in college, and we've just kind of tried to get better from there. Every year we've had more kids. This year we're up to 32 kids on the team, which is the biggest we've ever had. So we're just trying to get bigger. We're just trying to grow,
So when you go to, what's an average practice like?
Practice is a lot of it's very dependent on what each athlete needs to work on. Being that we have so many different kids with so many different backgrounds, a lot of them have to figure out what they need to work on. So, I preach a lot of figure out what you're bad at and we need to work on it. So
It's like your first day with all the kids.
Yep.
You just, okay, we're going to go here. Everybody's going to shoot trap.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then you just basically
And
do
we watch
like,
them.
okay,
we
you're
just
good
sit
at
back
this.
and watch. There's nothing like as far as coaching, like me and my assistant coach will just sit back and we'll just talk. Hey, his stance sucks. His hold point
Do you
sucks.
film it all?
Only when I need to. So if I have a kid that doesn't think they're doing something wrong, that I know they're doing something wrong, then I'll film them and I'll show them right there, and it works good.
Yeah.
Does each kid on the team have to shoot all the different kinds, or can they be, hey, this kid only shoots skeet, or he only shoots?
Being that we're a junior college, we don't have the blessing of being able to just have specialties. Lindenwood University and some of those top dogs that are able to bring those kids in and have the numbers that they do are able to kind of have specialties. Hey, this kid's a trap specialist, skeet specialist, whatever. My big thing is I bring kids in. I just want to make them shooters. If I see them, if they see a target, I want them to be able to break it. It don't matter what it is. I take the same expectations that I had when I was at Midland. When I was at Midland, we had, in my opinion, one of the best coaches that has ever coached collegiate shooting sports. Period. Brett Erickson was a four-time Olympic champion, Olympic competitor, and a 4-time Olympic coach. So he's been around it all. He's seen it all. He's one of the guys that if you're going to learn technique from, it's one of the best in the world to learn technique from. So taking what he's learned, I've done nothing but just apply that to the 2-year schools. So just because we're at a 2-year, just because we're at Iowa Western, my expectations aren't any lower than when I was at Midland. Like I have the kids, but I still know what they are capable of, and I know that if they put in the work, where they can be, if that makes sense. Nice.
So you have practice. You figure out what they're good at, what they're bad at.
Yep. And we just kind of watch them. We watch them, and then we just kind of talk them to working on what they need to work on. I would say 90% of the kids that I get are strictly trap shooters. Some might have some sporting clays and skeet background, but not enough to make them competitive. So bringing kids in, a lot of what we do is just consistency work. It's finding the small things. It's finding the little things that, they wouldn't think about. It's the stance. It's the hold points. A big thing that we work on is mentality. I'll coming in with just one background, a lot of the kids are nervous going to a lot of these competitions. Well, I've only shot trap in high school. I don't have the experience to come in and do this. Getting them to get past that and get over that is one of the biggest hurdles we face.
To train them to be competitive.
Absolutely.
To be competitors.
Yep.
And they just freeze up or what?
I think it's a lack of trusting themselves, to be honest with you. They come in and they see all these studs that are shooting 199s out of 200s, and so and so won this summer, and so was a world champion in this. Like they see those kids across from them, and they get a little bit of intimidated. So finding ways that I can get them to trust themselves and be confident in what they're doing. Like the way we're teaching them, if they're trusting me and Anthony, they're going to have success. The problem is they don't know that. So getting them to understand that and getting them to know what they're getting into and kind of how to handle that is huge, you know?
How do you teach them that? Like, how do you, like, hey man, this is the stage, this is the platform, you have to perform on it.
And that's the biggest balance. So a lot of times we try to do as much one-on-one work as we can, which is tough.
Like
we
coach,
yes.
Yeah.
So
That's
being
gotta be
that we have
fucking hard,
32
two coaches.
Yeah. So that's the toughest part for us. I mean, as far as just like finding out like, hey, so-and-so is struggling on X, X, and X. Like if I get the chance to work with them, that's awesome. You know, like that's what makes the difference.
Yeah. Can you trying to like equate from, I think we all played football, right? And so you understand like, oh, I have receivers and I have linemen. It's like you can put those groups together and you can do that stuff. So like you don't have to have one-to-one. You have, you know, one coach with that. So with that, can you lump them together? Like, hey, these guys are struggling with like, I don't know, initial target acquisition. I don't know if that's right or not, but like you have this thing like, hey, these guys are struggling with like something similar.
Sure. Absolutely.
Let's put them together.
100%.
Work with them.
100%. Yep. And it just, I mean, that the problem is college kids don't want to tell you what their problems are if they know what their problems are at all. You know, getting them to self-reflect and to figure out kind of where they're going wrong and what they need to do to fix what their problem is one of the biggest things.
I mean, that's got to be extra hard if you're already, like you said, they were the best wherever they were coming from, right?
Yep.
Maybe some of them actually had to practice hard to get that, and some of them were just like, oh, I'm just better than everyone else.
Sure.
So I didn't have to practice, and now I'm here, and like, oh shit.
And we've had those kids, you know, we've had the studs that come in that shoot as good as I do, you know, like it's those kids are out there, and it's amazing to see. But getting the ones that are just like a step below that to that level is the key. Like that is the key is figuring out how to get somebody that is good already to great is all of it. It's
especially in the team aspect, right? Like you need to get like your best ones, they're gonna be the best. Like they're
exactly
gonna
right.
be the greatest.
Yep.
But you find like those C's, B's that you can move up a level, like now you're making progress as a team. Like they get better, but like that helps the team out tremendously.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
So you start the team, keep growing it, and then you win your first national championship in 2022.
Yep.
So after 4 years of being there?
Yep. I think we got runner-up in 2021. So from there on, we're like the kids from 2021 to 2022, they were just hungry. The kids that came back, they knew it was right there. They knew they could do it, and they just they did it.
So how does that change your recruiting? Does it make it
rings,
easier?
You carry your rings on a necklace and you just walk in. You're like,
no, we've had this talk. He doesn't wear them to recruit. I was like, you should wear all of them.
you need
tough.
a Nick Saban box.
I do need a Nick Saban box. That would be cool.
Just
You know, it's just trying to get the kids to that come in, the freshmen, to understand kind of our expectations is the big thing. You know, if I'm able to keep my expectations and the way that we perform, I mean, that's everything. I mean, that it's also one of the hardest things is just being able to take, you know, only having the kids for 2 years is super tough.
That'd be really hard.
You know, I mean, a lot of the teams, Midland, Concordia, Fort Hays, I mean, they get kids for 4 years. So they have 4 years to work with these kids and build them into what they want to be. You know, so finding the kids that are able to make that switch in 2 years is just tough. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
But now is it easier recruiting now that you have the national championships? Does that help? Do the kids pay attention to that? These high school kids, do they know?
I'd say somewhat, but a lot of the high school kids don't understand what we have to offer. And I think that's one of the biggest limitations that I have with my recruiting, to be honest with you.
Like you as a sport team
as a program.
As a program as a school.
Yes. Yeah, as a program as a school. Like they don't know, like the school right now, we don't limit kids on how much they can shoot. You know, if they come in and they want to go out and they shoot, you know, a case and a half a week, 2 cases a week, that's being done and that's making us better. But a lot of them don't understand that we have that. And other than just the advertising that we do and talking to kids and word of mouth and stuff like that, that's all we have to tell them what we have to offer them. You know, I can't tell you the number of older guys I've talked to that said, "Hey, man, if you had this program in the '80s when I was there, I would have been all over this." Like they have no idea how lucky they are with what we have to offer. So it's just a matter of getting the kids to see what we have to offer them and how good we can make them.
Now, do you think if you guys had your own facility, would be different too?
Sure, absolutely. And that's a whole different animal too, you know.
Well, I know it's like we've talked before. It's kind of
Yep.
it was kind of almost in the works for a little bit, and then
It's off and on, you know. I have a ton of support.
because right now you guys,
So right
You
now
guys-
we practice at Harry Koch here in Omaha, and they've been nothing but fantastic. You know, we got a new manager in last year, and he's done nothing but try to help us, and I appreciate the shit out of that. But you know, someday having our own range, that would make or break this. You know, that would give us so many more options as far as like freedom to train how we want and to do what we want. You know, we do a lot of sharing with the public. We share with Midland at Harry Koch. So
Midland shoots at Harry Koch.
Yep.
They don't have their own range.
No, it's only 45 minutes away from Midland. So
No, but it's still crazy though.
yeah. Yep. I mean, we shot there when I was in college too. So
Do you guys wear all your rings there just to show them?
But Midland's
no
got a
rings.
decent stash of rings though too, don't they?
they got the rings from 2017.
When you were there,
Yeah.
so
So you got the same ring. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's. Oh, I got that one too. But look at these.
how many did you win at Midland then?
Just one. Yep. We had one in 2017. We were in Division II, so it was a little more high quality competition, and we ended up winning by one single target out of the 3,500 targets that were thrown. So that was pretty crazy.
How did you shoot?
Not real good, to be honest with you.
It's all right.
That was the same year I was bus driver and assistant coach and all that stuff. So it was.
Now you shot Worlds with your dad too.
I did. Yep.
How'd you do at Worlds?
I think I placed in AAA. I was
What's AAA?
49th out of 50. Whatever discipline, whatever division they put you in. They go everything from AAA, AA, A, B, C, D, E. So
So you got 49th out of 50.
yep,
The AAA sounds like the top tier.
yep. And it's just, I mean, it takes time. That was my,
But,
that was my
how many
first
targets
showing
did
at
you?
Worlds.
But how many targets did you miss though?
15
Out
out
of
of the 400.
so I mean that kind of puts it into perspective. You might have been second to last, but you only missed.
Sure.
Like that just shows like when
Sure.
you get to like top level, like everyone's so.
And it is. Absolutely.
Because I'm
Yeah.
assuming the guy who got first was. I mean, there's probably how many people that shot perfect,
11
and they have a shoot
in
off
each
after
discipline. Yeah, so they'll have a shoot off after that, and they'll run that until someone misses. You know.
that. Until your dad's a better shooter, is what you're saying.
Yep,
Did you shoot 20 gauge too?
I did.
And your dad outshot you.
Was he in the same division?
No, I think he
No,
had
he's
a,
in the elders.
he had a 90. So he was Class D. I was Class AA. I think AA or AAA.
You were the top one.
Yeah, I had a 98, and he had a 96. He won Class D. So I can't take that away from him. You know what? I worked with him for months before we went down to San Antonio. I mean, he just wanted to have one good event,
Yeah.
and he did, and that's all it takes. You know, you have one good event. He had a 96 out of 100, and you know what? He beat everybody in his class. He beat all. I think there was 110 people in his class. So good for him.
And good for him. And if you ever met Derek's dad, he's like one of the greatest fucking people. So for him to win, it was
Yeah,
pretty.
it's so cool. You know, it's he never in a million years thought it was going to happen. So going down there and shooting that is the coolest thing in the world to see.
That's cool. I think that's pretty cool for the kids that like you as their coach, you're like, hey, yeah, I'm teaching you how to compete, but guess what, guys? Like, I also am stepping
Sure.
on a stage that makes me really uncomfortable. I
Absolutely.
don't wanna be
And
there.
I think that's one thing that sets me apart from a lot of coaches is
Yeah.
I will train with the kids.
like you've been a
Unless they
competitor
got
for a long-
48th and you got 49th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then I'll be in the truck.
Yeah, go to
Yeah,
Midland.
yeah, we're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
But you guys shoot 12 gauge
Yep.
at the school, right? How come you
Correct.
didn't shoot 12 gauge at Worlds?
We did. Yep.
did?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, I shot 12, 20, 28 and 410. We shot the whole works.
Why not 6 or 8?
6 or 8 what?
8 gauge.
I don't
Just
know.
work your way down 10 gauge.
They don't have any of that.
I should.
No, 12, 20,
There we go.
28, 410 is all they have at Worlds. no 16,
Is that
no
San
10
Antonio?
gauge. Yeah.
All the same gun, like same brand.
Yeah. So most guns nowadays either have barrel exchanges where you can just change the barrels out between whatever discipline you're doing, or tubes to put in. So it's just a tube that you throw in your gun that goes down the barrel and it fills the space for whatever gauge you're shooting. 12, 20, 28, 410, something like that.
Like over under style?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you shoot?
I got all of them.
No, I mean, but what brand gun?
So
you,
I got a Beretta 686 right now. Pretty middle of the road. I think it was like $1,800. Not really anything special, but you know, it's reliable and it goes bang every time, and it fits me. So that's why we got into it.
So when those tubes, are those impossible to get back out because they get
No.
hot and they swell, or you just wait?
Well, you're just fine. The tubes that you can get for pretty much any break open gun. Briley does a fantastic job with them. They're all super light. They're custom fit to your gun. So if you have an over under that you want to get different disciplines, different gauges in, they'll hook you up right away. I mean, they take I don't know how they do it.
What's the set of tubes cost then
For the top of the line is about $2,000.
for a full set?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that
So that
takes it all the way
brings
from
you
12?
so if you have a 12 gauge, that'll give you 20, 28 and 410 gauge tubes. So you'll get, I think, 5 chokes with every gauge. So you can go in and pick kind of what you're doing. If you're a big sporting clays shooter, a lot of sporting clays shoots have sub gauge 20, 28 awards. So you can kind of go in there and pick and choose what you want to shoot, and it makes you better. To be honest with you, I mean, a lot of shooting sub gauge stuff does nothing but help your game. You know, it really shows you where you're lazy. It shows you where you're weak at. It shows you what you need to work on.
So what do you mean by sub gauge?
20, 28, and 12.
So
Or
anything
28,
under,
24.
anything under 12 gauge?
12
Yeah.
is a standard.
Yep. Yep. So you're just getting smaller the way you do it. So 12 gauge is kind of the standard, kind of what everybody goes to as far as a main gun, and then 20, 28, and 410 are just the tubes you put in to make it harder. So
what's the prediction for the team this year?
you know, it's tough to say, just like it is every year.
4-time champs.
You know, we're hoping so, but
Don't
you know,
hope.
with the kids have to show up is the big thing. They got to be there and they got to want it. You know, I can't want it for them.
I think it's crazy that when I didn't know that till I was down at one of your shoots, you can't coach them while they're shooting.
Correct. Yeah. No.
That's the crazy thing. He can't
When we
walk
go
up
to
in
a
between and be
competition-
like, "Hey, do this differently." He can't
No.
coach them while they're shooting.
Yeah. When we go to a competition, me and our assistant might as well sit in the van. I mean, there's no.
That's kind of what we did.
Drop
Yeah.
them off, go get food, come
Yeah,
back. Like, hey,
absolutely.
you guys done?
Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. He said he couldn't coach him, and I was like, "You can't be like, hey,
wild.
do this, do that."
And I mean, if you think about it, it's they're showing me what I've taught them the past however many weeks. You know, like they're
Yeah, but I
there.
mean, but a football coach does that all the time, and they can be like, "Quit
mean-
being a fucking idiot, do this." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Even golfers get a caddy who helps them out.
yeah.
no, it's a big deal to coach in at a competition. No, coaches get rung through the ringer for that shit. Like that's a bad deal. No.
So is it an actual rule, or it's just like a good old
No,
boys rule?
it's a rule, 100%.
No, like you
there's
have to be so many feet away from it, or
especially like sporting clays. So like the hunting aspect of it. Like if you're walking around with them, you can't stand behind them and be like, "Hey man, you got to be a foot ahead of that one. Hey man, you got to be whatever."
you can't have some hand signals and throw them to them.
No hand signals.
A
Man,
buzzer in the shoe.
keep your hands in your pockets. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that chess player that
Yeah.
had the
Get a
had the butt
buzzer.
plug?
Yes, one had a butt plug, but there were others who've had like buzzers in their shoes.
Well, yeah, so you can't, but do you have to be so many feet away, or is it just
Not
like
really. No, it's like, don't be a scumbag. It's kind of what it is. Like it's,
It's the honor system a little
yeah,
bit.
absolutely.
I mean, the whole
100%.
thing's kind of honor system, really.
It is. It really.
That's cool.
A lot of times, they'll mix when they go sporting clays. They'll mix teams with teams. So we'll be shooting with 3 of our kids. Will be shooting with 3 Midland kids or Fort Hays or Concordia, just to keep everybody honest. You know, like they don't let a squad of 5 of our team go out. That's different at nationals. Nationals, they have a scorekeeper on every single station, so you'll just hand your score card to a keeper, and they will do it correctly. There's no gimmies. There's no fiddling with it. There's no nothing.
Now, do you get people that reach out to you and be like, "My kid's the greatest shooter you ever seen"?
For sure, absolutely,
What you gonna offer my boy?
yeah. And I love that. You know,
Well, what if their kid's terrible?
Well,
My kid's great. Your kid's terrible.
When you walk out, you leave the Midland card.
We don't we don't have a lot of that. Like if we have a kid that parents come in and they're talking highly of their son, normally their son's a stud. Like they've been around the sport, they know it well enough that they know that their kid's going to do good, whether it's for me or whether it's for another college.
Have any of the bigger colleges recruited you to come coach their teams?
Not yet. You know, I'd love to see it.
After this, though,
You know, I'd love to see it.
And
You know,
doesn't the listeners come through for you?
you know, I'd like to think we build a very successful program here, and I think I could do it again.
Are there any schools in the metro area here that actually do shotgun sports? I don't think there are any.
Not really in the metro. Midland's probably the closest.
I'm saying like high schools.
Oh, high schools. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
there's high
Omaha.
school.
Creighton.
Yeah.
Creighton
Creighton Prep.
I couldn't believe that Marion
Omaha
had a team.
Scott.
It's an
Marion has
all-girls
a team. Yeah.
Not be an all-girls team?
Pick a school here in
Would it
Omaha.
not be an all-girls
Omaha
team?
Public
Well,
Schools?
yeah.
No.
No, Omaha Public Schools?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's weird. I don't know. why they would.
That's more
weird.
drive-by stuff.
Yeah, it's more pistol rifle. Yeah, we had a neighbor out in our area. His son shot for Creighton, or not Creighton, Creighton Prep.
Okay. Yep.
Shot out there, and so they ended up building because they had, I don't know, 40, 50.
Creighton Prep's got a fantastic team.
So they had a great team, but his son wanted to shoot some more and stuff, and so they put in a thing out on their land. But he was saying like his kid was going through almost 3,000 shells a season or something like that. And I mean,
That's not.
good thing they made the money for
Yeah,
it. But it was
absolutely.
Like, God, he's like, honestly, it's tough to find enough shells in quantity rather than going to Shields and buying some here. And
You're
buying
exactly
some
right.
here and buying some there
Yep.
and stuff. But I was like, hold on, 3,000 for like just your kid? And he's
Yep.
like, yeah. And they're not the estate.
And that's just normal season.
Right.
And I'm assuming, being that he takes it that serious, that he does, external stuff. He probably runs the ATA circuit.
Yeah, he does. He does some
probably
tournament stuff. They travel
Yeah.
for it and stuff. And I was like, obviously you've never heard of him, so I doubt he's any good.
That's not true at all.
I have no idea.
One big thing that lacks in the shotgun world is me finding kids. It's if I don't go seek out.
They don't publish like a 4-star.
Yeah, we don't have a huddle like the football programs do. We don't have.
So that's what I was getting to with like the recording, because like I used Huddle, even coaching like youth football. It was fucking
Sure,
awesome. Huddle was
absolutely,
great.
And we don't really have anything like that. There's been a couple of programs that have kind of like tried to institute a recruitment based website of some kind, and it's it really doesn't take off. It doesn't
How do
really
you find kids? Like go and scout
show up in
tournament
person.
scores and just
Show
Well, you go
up
to
in
the
person.
the state tournament though, right?
Yep, absolutely. I'll try to
state
go
show.
to multiple state tournaments. I mean, any connecting state around here, I'll go to their state tournaments.
So
do you wear the rings to those?
No, I probably should.
yeah, dude, what the?
Well, if I was you, I'd be like, Florida, got a real nice team down there. I heard. I've been
Yeah.
down there to the state, Georgia, Tennessee.
Iowa Western, he probably have to take his own van down there.
You probably have a van. It's Iowa.
Well, no, but he'd have to drive.
They got it.
I mean, yeah, but they got a guy that could drive for you. He just can't stop in certain
That's the
states
guy.
because he's
The
wanted.
guy,
He is
absolutely.
the guy.
We can't stop in this state. I got to go around.
Well, so for any of the dozens that listen, what if they think their kid is good? How do they reach you?
Get a hold of me at dpollock@iwcc.org. .edu. I'm sorry.
Everybody's gonna spell that wrong, so spell your name.
DPOLLOCK at iwcc.edu. Hit me up.
Yeah.
We're giving scholarships.
Now full rides, or do you determine that, or
No, we've never been able to give us full rides. So kind of the way the program has been set up, and I've okayed this. Like the athletic directors came in, the presidents came in. We spend a lot more money on ammunition than we do on scholarships. So if you're looking for a full ride, that's tough to get from us. But if you're looking to shoot, this is where you're going to find it.
Right, but you said like there's no limit on.
There's
how
no
much you wanna
limit
shoot.
right now.
Like,
Yep.
You just
so instead of a full ride,
Absolutely.
you'd rather forego the full rides to give people
100%.
more opportunities to
You're
get better.
exactly
More
right.
practice.
And let's be honest, I went to Iowa Western too. It's not like $1 gazillion to go to Iowa Western.
Correct.
If
Yep.
you have to cough up like another $5,000, you're probably going to graduate from Iowa Western.
Yep. 100%. No. Yeah.
And actually,
I like
Iowa
to-
Western's a really good 2-year school. As far
100%.
as education wise, they're a
Yeah.
very good 2-year school.
You know what? If you got trade programs, if you want to work with your hands, we have.
If you're a
nothing
diesel
but-
mechanic?
yeah, you betcha. We've got nothing but great stuff to offer you, man.
No, Iowa Western's a great school. I mean, and it's grown from I graduated there like a while back, and
Back
it's
in the
grown.
day.
It's grown.
What'd you graduate in?
What year?
No, I mean, what was your?
Computer support.
Oh, now is that going well?
Yeah. Yeah. You know how many times I've had to have somebody come work on my computer? None.
0.
I doubt it.
You know who set up this whole podcast shenanigans? This guy.
Yeah.
You know how many printer problems?
0. Worked on those
There
too.
wasn't a problem last week.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That was the machine.
Oh, okay.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I
you shut
troubleshot
your
it.
mouth when you talk to me.
Yeah, I troubleshot it already. Okay. But no, it's grown like crazy. Like when I was there was still a cornfield in the middle.
No, there's. I mean, it's.
And you got
We
the
have
Renaissance
such
Fair?
good support.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do the Renaissance Fair there anymore, do they? They used to.
I don't know.
So, not that
A
I've heard
long
of.
time ago.
That's something I would attend on
West
campus.
Fair, right?
Yeah. Well,
Especially if
there
they have
used to
the
be a
Armored
Renaissance
Combat
Fair
League.
at
Yeah,
Iowa
Matt's
Western.
not allowed to find the armor combat.
I'll
League. He
show up
beat him
for
all
that
up already.
again.
Oh man,
yeah.
I've seen some LARPers at the Benson Park before.
Matt's
You
not
should
allowed.
show up. You should just show up.
Matt's
LARPer-
pictures hanging up on the larpers.com site.
No, the LARPers aren't fun because they won't let you actually. You can't hurt them.
You probably could.
The armored. I mean,
You'd
you
only
could
get-
come through. Yeah,
I mean, you
Definitely could.
get invited at one time.
just come through with a wooden dowel and just start.
What kind of
smashing.
food you nerds got? That I'm gonna.
Yeah.
That's mine now.
Not enough protein.
Yeah, or you
My
steal
boomstick.
you steal their username off Xbox.
But I mean, so they go to Iowa Western, right? So someone could still go there, shoot, and say they just want to knock out all their gen eds. And
You
stuff.
betcha.
You can still
that's,
do that, right?
That's absolutely what
Yeah.
100%. So if you want a 4-year degree, come to us. Let's make it cheaper for you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Now,
let's
how does that work? They shoot with you for 2 years. Let's say they want to shoot
shoot-
now.
Yep.
Do you refer them to because you shot at Midland or something? Do you refer them to Midland?
So
or
it's
do you,
not that I refer them, but I will definitely reach out to their coaches if they know of a place they want to go. You know, if they do a couple of years and get their gen eds done and they want to go finish out their whatever degree it might be, you know, they want to go be an engineer or something. You know, we have a good pre-engineering program. Come through, get your gen eds done, and we'll get you on the road to whatever school you want to go to. There's a lot of schools out there that have shooting programs for engineering. Yeah, we'd hook you up for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, there you have it. If you want to be part of a national championship team, hit them up at Iowa Western.
Get rings.
We're trying every year.
You guys
Good
got it.
frisbee golfing
They just got to
course.
wear them.
We do have a good frisbee golf course.
Yep.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
And they have a good football team.
we have a damn good football team. I don't know if there's a sport that we're bad at, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of, pick a sport. I mean, we're studs, and it's nice to see. To me, that's part of the reason why we have the success that we do, because the athletic department is able to sponsor us and they're able to support us to the extent that we have. You know, we wouldn't be as good as we are without the rounds behind us. You know, I mean, those kids going out there and being able to shoot. I mean, I had one of our true national champions, Mitch Germany, who was a double trap national champion. Leading up to nationals, I bet he shot 1,500 rounds beforehand, like the week beforehand. I mean, he did nothing but just hammer on double trap, getting ready for nationals. And he did. He showed up to nationals. He shot 100 straight, and he was the only kid out of like the 1,400 kids that shot at nationals to shoot 100 straight. And he did it. You know, it's crazy to see. It's awesome to watch.
It's your work.
It's work.
You're
That's what
proud
it
of
is.
it.
That's what it is. It's work.
All right, guys. Well, or if you ever want to check them out, you guys post them on the Iowa Western page.
Yep, Iowa Western Reavers Facebook page. You betcha.
If you ever want to go watch them shoot,
Yep.
they shoot in Lincoln.
Shoot.
You guys are hosting your first meet, right? Your first shoot.
Yep. Hosting our first shoot, the first weekend in
March
March.
In
Yep.
Lincoln?
7th and 8th, I believe, in Lincoln.
Down at Lincoln.
Trap and Skeet.
Trap and Skeet. If you want to watch them, and you don't have to be there the whole time if you don't want to. You can
And you
swing
can
in
stop
and
by
see.
Elite Nutrition in Lincoln, get a free shaker,
And
a Cybertruck ride.
Cybertruck ride.
and a Cybertruck ride.
But well, then we appreciate it. We tried to talk into this for a long time. Wasn't that bad?
It was not that bad.
No. So yeah, if you guys want to go shoot for a winning
we should
coach.
have filmed the talking him into it because
Yeah, that would be the best part of it.
yeah, Brett was the best part of it.
But any kids out there that are good shots, if you want to shoot with a winning coach, I mean he's 3-peating right now. Probably going for 4 here.
Fingers crossed.
So get a hold of him. We appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you next time.